Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lumpy Studio, and today I'm back with another Which is Better. I'm going to be talking about two hockey shows out there that have come out in the past 6 months. The first one is Heat of Rivalry, which is a show that I think everyone's heard of at least. Very popular last winter. I mean, it has carried its popularity throughout this year in 2026. And going into season two, that popularity, I still see people talking about it. I still see people posting about it online. This past semester, my gender studies teacher did a whole lesson on Heat Rivalry topics, talking about something that this author wrote about Heat Rivalry, and talking about the male gazes and all that types of stuff. But still very popular, apparently being used in college lesson plans for gender studies classes. So it's gained that popularity, gained that traction. And the show I'm comparing it to is Off Campus. And I reviewed all of Off Campus season one, so you should go check out those recaps. I also reviewed Heat of Rivalry. I just did it in one video back in January after the first season came out. So I've reviewed both of these shows on my channel. In fact, I'll just go ahead and link my reviews down below. I'll link my review for Off Campus, the first two episodes, and then you can just watch the other ones from there. And then I'll relink my Heat of Rivalry full season review. But yeah, these two shows, I don't really understand why people are comparing the two of them, except for the fact that they're both about hockey. That's the only reason I can find. And the fact that they're probably the two most successful young adult dramas that have been out, as of late. I don't think there has been two shows that are as popular as these two shows. I mean, I wasn't expecting Off Campus to be this popular of a show. Heat of Rivalry, I'm not really surprised because there's just not a lot of gay shows out there. I mean, I know there's Heartstopper. I have not watched that, but I know there is a pretty big fan base around that. But Heat of Rivalry was huge. I mean, I know it's a popular book series. Same with Off Campus. I had never heard of either book series before I watched either show. So, I mean, that's not really surprising. I don't think the average high schooler would have read those books. I mean, there's so many books out there. It's hard to keep track of all of them unless you get a book recommendation. And I just had never gotten one for either of those two book series. And now they're being made into shows. So there's that. But really, the only thing these shows have in common is hockey. So it's you're basically comparing which show has a better hockey storyline, which I guess we can kind of get into that. But at the end of the day, I'll kind of just talk about a little bit about each one, about which one I like better. But it's hard for me to compare which one is a better show because they're both so different. But I also thought, why not just do the video? Because all people have been talking about, whether it's on X or Reddit, all people are talking about is Heat of Rivalry versus Off Campus. And people are just making a way too big of a deal out of two shows that are so different from each other. But nonetheless, let's get into it. So obviously, the biggest thing that these two shows have in common is hockey. Hockey is the backdrop, but it's not just a backdrop. It's embedded into the characters' lives. Obviously, in Heat of Rivalry, you have hockey being the main thing that is keeping Shane and Ilya apart. It's also a really big deal in both of their lives. Ilya is playing, and he's struggling. His dad, his brother, all of that whole mess. Shane's parents are big hockey fans, so I mean, there's definitely, it's embedded into their personal lives, and then it's the big thing affecting their relationship from them actually being together, the hockey world, all of that. And Off Campus, from what we've seen so far, hockey's a pretty big deal in Garrett's life. I mean, obviously in the other teammates' lives as well. Garrett's pressure with his dad, all of that. I mean, you can get that similarity between Garrett and Ilya, the pressure they face from their dad, daddy issues. They definitely both have daddy issues. Being in situations where their dad abused their mom, and their dad abused them. I mean, they actually do have a lot of similarities too, and the interesting thing is that they both kind of suppress what they're going through, kind of try to brush it off, but they both have that really they both have a really beautiful smile. Let's be honest, so pretty, such a pretty smile they both have. So they actually do have a lot of similarities, and I guess in that way, Shane would be like Hannah which they kind of are. They're both more on the quiet side, but they also have like an edge to them. So maybe there are some more similarities to this. I'm probably People are probably going to be listening and like there are no similarities between these two relationships. What are you talking about? It's just literally something I had just been thinking of. It's not something I've been thinking about for a while, but yeah, you can kind of run with that. But yeah, hockey's a big deal in both of the characters' lives. I mean, obviously, Heat of Rivalry is pro NHL and off campus is college. So obviously the stakes are lower in the latter show, but at the end of the day, they're both important for the show and the storyline. I mean, really, Heat of Rivalry just takes it to another level because it's pro and because it's the main thing keeping Shane and Ilya apart. Now, in off campus, there's other things keeping Hannah and Garrett apart, but I so obviously, moving on, Heat of Rivalry is a male male romance. Off campus is a female male romance. So that's like a main difference right off the bat. And if off campus featured like a prominent gay relationship, maybe I would understand the comparison a bit more, but it doesn't. So I don't really understand that. But the core trope, heat of rivalry, enemies to lovers, forbidden romance, I mean, pretty bit major trope. And off campus has that fake dating, academic tutoring, that whole thing. So two very different tropes. And then you obviously have in off campus, you have like the daddy issues plotline thrown in, and you have the rape thing thrown in. So there's several things kind of added to that. It's not just about fake dating and academic tutoring. This is literally just a Gemini summary I had pulled up of like the similarities and differences. But timeline, I mean, it spans several years, Heat of Rivalry does. So you get to kind of see their relationship play out over the years. Off campus just takes place over an academic term. I'm not sure if it's one semester or two, but we do get to see Thanksgiving. I don't know if it bleeds into the second semester or not. I was kind of confused about the timeline. I don't know how the hockey season timeline works, but the tone, Heat of Rivalry has a grittier tone. It feels more high stakes. I mean, obviously, like the first half of the season is just Shane and Ilya fucking. I mean, that's basically it. Off campus, I mean, they have some sex scenes, and there's definitely like there's a scene where Allie just takes off her shirt and her tits are hanging out in episode one. And I didn't really care for that. That just kind of took me out of the scene personally, and I looked it up, and a lot of people, other people felt that way too. So, I mean, they definitely both have an edge to them. I mean, Off Campus is just your standard college show, and Heat of Rivalry kind of goes beyond that and focuses on just deeper issues. It's just a heavier show. But what makes Off Campus work so well, in my opinion, is because this generation has been missing good college dramas. We just don't have a lot of them. And One Tree Hill wasn't a. I just think of One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill wasn't a college show, but it did deal with young adults and all their drama for the later seasons. I mean, really, it was young adults playing teenagers in the high school part of the show too. But you just don't have many shows anymore that just are good college shows. So Off Campus really kind of brings that to our generation, something that we just don't have as of late. Which is why I think a lot of people my age, young adults, college students, are just so hooked into the show because they just don't have anything right now that fulfills that. So Off Campus, I think, is the perfect show for right now, just because there's not a lot of good college shows out. So I think both shows do what they're doing really well. Heat of Rivalry is more heavy on purpose. It's dealing with homophobic stuff. It's dealing with family abuse, and I think it deals with all of it pretty well too. I didn't care for the first few episodes of Heat of Rivalry. I liked the Scott and Skip stuff, but I didn't care for the first half of the season. But the last few episodes, in my opinion, were really strong, especially the last two and the finale. I really enjoyed when we just got to see Shane and Ilya be together and not just fucking the whole time. When we actually got to see their relationship deepen and grow and them grow emotionally together, I really did like that. And Off Campus, I feel like the season started out really strong, and I just didn't care for episode six and on. I thought episodes one through five were really strong, and I didn't love how they handled the breakup and all of that, and especially reading the first book and seeing how seeing how that whole storyline goes down differently. I just didn't love how they handled it in the show, but that's just me. I'm next week I plan to do my review of the deal and I'll kind of talk about all of that then. But I I think the chemistry is good in both shows. I think the acting is also good in both shows, but Heat of Rivalry deals with some heavier topics. So, not to say Off Campus doesn't. I mean, Off Campus deals with rape, it deals with family abuse, and I think the actors do a great job of portraying it. I think Off Campus benefits from the fact that it is a straight romance and that it knows that it's going to be gaining in more of the general audience because there's a lot of people that will just not watch a gay show. So they know that they're going to be pulling in more numbers across the board. So the people are just going to be more inclined to enjoy the chemistry. And I really think that's what drew so many people into the show was the ensemble, Hannah and Garrett's chemistry. Dean and Allie was a huge part of it too. And for Heat of Rivalry, there's not that many facets to it. I mean, it's either you like Shane and Elia or you just don't watch it. I don't really know people who just watch the show for the hockey or for watch the show for Scott and Kip or something like that. I don't know people like I feel like with Off Campus, you can not particularly love Hannah and Garrett, but you can also like love the show as a whole. You can find something else you enjoy about it. And that's what's good about a college drama is that there's so many storylines, so many relationships going on. Off campus benefits from the fact that it doesn't feel overcrowded. Like I never felt like there were too many characters. In Heat of Rivalry, what I like about that show is it doesn't need a whole lot of characters to tell a good story. And that's why I think these two shows are really well done. It's funny, I think the first half of Off Campus was better than the second half, and I think the second half of Heat of Rivalry was better than the first half. So I would say I left Heat of Rivalry, the first season, the finale, feeling way like better than the Off Campus finale. But the finale of Off Campus left on a cliffhanger and not the most hopeful, where Heat of Rivalry ended with like a sense of hope. Because I don't think they knew they were getting a season two, so it definitely felt like it could be a series finale. But we know we're getting a season two, so obviously that's different now. But I think the finale of Heat of Rivalry was definitely a lot better because I feel like Hannah and Gary getting back together in the finale felt pretty rushed to me. But I have not finished the deal yet, so I need to see how all of that goes down, how the ending of the book goes before I make a final judgment about that. But all in all, I enjoyed Heat of Rivalry better in the sense that it had deeper stuff. It didn't feel as rushed. The finale, like the last few episodes, I felt like were really good. It got really good at the end. It definitely made me want season two a lot more. So I really like that about Heat of Robbery. What I liked about Off Campus is that it gives my generation a fun college show to watch that also deals with some serious stuff too. Great chemistry. I just love, and especially being a college student now, I just love being able to watch kind of like the world that I'm in play out on screen, the setting and all that. So it's just hard to make a comparison between the two shows because they're both so good but so different. But if we're talking from like a writing and standpoint and overall production, all of that, I do think Heat of Rivalry is better with all of that. But as far as a show that just caters to a bigger audience, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what the point of shows are. You're trying to draw in as many viewers as possible. Then I do think Off Campus probably takes the cake there, just because they can appeal to a wider audience. Because they'll have a better chance if people aren't going to watch because they're not going to watch a gay couple. Then the show that doesn't have a gay couple obviously is going to have the leg up there. But both shows are good, but I do think Heat of Rivalry edges it out story wise, and Off Campus probably edges it out audience wise and broader appeal and that type of thing. So I know that's not really like a better answer for me. I personally, if I'm being honest, I enjoy the last few episodes of Heat of Rivalry and the first few episodes of Off Campus the best. But overall, I enjoyed Off Campus more. That's just my opinion. I had a better time watching it overall, with all the storylines. Now, Heat of Rivalry got really good at the end, and I'm really looking forward to season two of both shows. But overall, I enjoyed Off Campus more. So that's where I'm going to leave it. But let me know down below, which show did you like better? They're both great shows. I'm not talking down on either show. They're both really well made shows and are definitely going to be huge parts of this decade of shows, this mid decade. We're finally getting some good shows. We've been missing out on them for a while. Stranger Things ended so poorly. We're getting our finale for Outer Banks. I'm not too sure what's going on there. We haven't really heard anything, but yeah, let me know down below which of the two shows you like better, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.